Hi guys, this is Lena at Gradelink. Thanks for joining me again for the financial webinar video series. This is video number 12 in our series. We've been talking about pay plans, and we've already covered how to configure a pay plan, as well as how to place a student on a particular payment plan, meaning their schedule, as well as the amount that they'll be paying over the course of the year. So we've already gotten that set up. What I want to show you now is how it's going to work and how the charges are going to automatically be triggered into the student ledger so that you don't need to go in each month and input these, in this case, $200 amounts over and over because you've already configured it at the beginning of the year. And what we're starting to get into now is some of your monthly upkeep in Gradelink. So I'm going to jump over now to my billing tab at the top of the page here. And when I'm on my billing page, if you recall, each of these months has a status. When you're doing your normal financial entries, maybe you're putting in charges here and there in the ledger, and you're inputting your payments that you've received from parents, you want the status to be open. However, at the end of the month, right before you run your statements to give to parents, what you'll want to do is highlight the month that you've been working in and change the period status from open to closed. I'm going to click Save at the lower right. Once I close the period, I can see the date that I closed it, just for my records in the Closed On box. And the March billing cycle spanned from March 1st to March 21st. And if you recall, I manually selected these dates because I wanted to be able to close the month a little bit prior to the 1st so that I could present parents with statements ahead of time, since tuition in this case is due on the 1st. I'm going to go back to contracts now, and I just want to show you Picasso as an example. This is a student that had a pay plan set up. The first bill-on date was March 20th. To cover the April tuition, and it was for $200. This bill-on date is absolutely critical. So March 20th falls within my March billing cycle because it falls within this date range right here. So what that means is upon setting my period status to closed, that $200 charge for Picasso should already be in the ledger. I'm going to click now on Ledger, Picasso. I'm viewing my 2014-2015 session, and there it is. The tuition rate was the charge, $200, and it was to cover April. I did not manually add this charge in the ledger. It was added when I closed the billing period. I'm going to go to another student now. For example, Alexis, who we see is on a 10-month pay plan. Alexis's first charge should occur on August 25th to cover September tuition. So it won't be until after I close this August billing period, where that bill-on date falls in between these two transaction from and through dates, because August 25th falls in between there. When I close this billing period come the end of August, then this charge will automatically trigger in the ledger. Okay, so what you're seeing is that your billing transaction from and transaction through dates are very critical if you're using pay plans. What you need to make sure of is that on your pay plans page, that this bill on date below this column falls in the appropriate billing cycle. So if I intend for this charge to appear on my statement that I run at the end of March, I need to make sure that this date in this box falls in between my March transaction from and transaction through dates. In this case it does, because the bill on date was March 20th. So the date fell appropriately in between these two dates. So we're talking about closing the billing period, and this is part of your monthly upkeep in your Gradelink account. So what you're seeing here is that all of these charges, if you've configured your transaction from and transaction through dates, keeping in mind your bill on dates on your pay plans, then you're set up already so that the charges will automatically trigger in the ledger each month. So really important to note is that because these charges are going to automatically appear in the ledger, what you do not want to do is manually enter a charge in the ledger if it's already covered by a pay plan. If a student is on a pay plan, for example, for tuition, and then you come into the ledger and automatically add a tuition charge in, or manually add a tuition charge in, the student is going to be double billed for tuition, and that's what you want to avoid. So if a student is on a contract, do not add in any of these charges manually in the ledger for that student. The only charges you would add in would be charges not covered by a pay plan. So maybe a one-time field trip fee or a book fee or something like that would go in the ledger. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to manually add charges into the ledger for a student. So stay tuned.